Get ready to mash this party up. It's Rick and Script full non-stop. Hey! Rick and Script. D-Max style. Oh, yeah. I see you coming from a mile away, girl. I see ya coming. Girl, I see ya. Hey! She says she's a real good girl. She only goes to church then home. I say I'm a real good guy like Rick and Script. I stay in my zone. She says she don't party hard. I tell her I'm a party hard.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, Justice Indra Charles weighs in on a parliamentary ruling.
Millions of dollars in benefits held up at NIB. That and more tonight on our news.
The labor movement loses a leader, and the latest on national health insurance. Welcome to our news. I'm Christina McNeil. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, weeks after House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major condemned her injunction, which seeks to prohibit members of Parliament from disclosing Save the Bay's emails in Parliament, Justice Indra Charles insisted today she has great confidence in the Speaker's recent ruling in Parliament on the tabling of certain information. However, she asked that the status quo remain until a constitutional motion is heard next week. Vonique Toot reports.
Supreme Court Justice Indra Charles issued an order to maintain the status quo with respect to an injunction seeking to prohibit members of Parliament from appropriating or releasing emails belonging to Save the Bay's members until a hearing is held next Wednesday and Thursday. Charles granted the injunction last month. It stemmed from the decision by Marathon MP Jerome Fitzgerald to read the private emails of Save the Bay's members on the floor of the House of Assembly. However, Charles said today she did not want to extend it because she has great confidence that House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major and Deputy Speaker Dion Smith would do the right thing. She noted that much has transpired since the injunction was granted, referring to the House Speaker's ruling that the reading of such private emails would not be allowed in the future unless the source can be verified. Charles said the Speaker should be given the benefit of the doubt. However, attorney for Save the Bays, Fred Smith QC, argued that a resolution was moved in Parliament, which called for him, attorney for Ron Bethel, and others to be called before the Committee on Privilege to determine if they should be held in contempt of the House. He accused the House of seeking to intimidate the applicants in this matter if they continue with this case by threatening to have them cited for contempt. He called this unacceptable. Justice Charles insisted that Smith should not be intimidated by this. However, he asserted that they need protection from the executive branch of government, which he says is speaking with a forked tongue. Smith said that given the limited extent of the Speaker's ruling, there would be no reason for an injunction if the respondents, represented by Lauren Klein of the Attorney General's office and attorney Dr. Lloyd Barnett, would give an undertaking that Save the Bay's emails would no longer be read in Parliament. Barnett refused. Smith said it terrorizes him that the AG's office would not give the undertaking and questioned whether there is some unstated agenda to do something against the applicant's interests. In the absence of an extended injunction, Smith requested a conservatory order, asserting that anything else would leave them unprotected until the trial. Justice Charles once again insisted that while she does not know the House Speaker, she has confidence that he will do the right thing. In the end, she ordered that the status quo be maintained until the constitutional motion is heard next week. Reporting for our news, I'm Vonique Toot.
In other news, Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade yesterday read a proclamation from the Governor General declaring the constitutional referendum set for June 7th.
Now, therefore, I, Dame Marguerite Pendling, by this proclamation, appoint Tuesday, the 7th day of June 2016, as the date for the holding of the referendum. Given under my hand and public seal, this 11th day of May, in the year of our Lord, 2016, and in the 65th year of Her Majesty's reign. Signed, Governor General, God save the Queen.
Well, after distributing more than 200,000 National Insurance Board smart cards, challenges are causing delays in the rollout of Phase 2 of the board's transition. Giorgio Bain reports.
Director of the National Insurance Board, Rowena Bethel, says millions of dollars in backlog payments have been held up here at NIB. She says those waiting to receive sickness, unemployment, and maternity benefits have been waiting for over 3 months, but she hopes to have the problem resolved by mid-June. Bethel said phase 1 of the transition to the new state-of-the-art system went relatively smoothly, but now that they are well into phase 2, NIB is experiencing several issues.
The issues encountered encompass both technical matters and organizational culture adjustments. We note that the greatest impact has been felt by our customers in 2 areas in particular. Firstly, in relation to disablement benefit claims, and secondly, in relation to short-term benefit claims, and those of maternity, sickness, injury, and unemployment, with some 30% of these short-term claims having been affected. We're looking in terms of monthly benefit payments of roughly about $15 to $16 million.
Bethel says one of the biggest challenges are direct deposits.
We require, if we're in a position to transmit funds directly to bank accounts, it reduces the lines of people that turn up here to collect checks. So that's part of the exercise and some of the challenges we're going through. It's easier for us to be able to do that. But what we have found is that we have not had the response, the level of response that we would have liked at this stage from members of the public.
Bethel acknowledged that the transition has been stressful for persons waiting for payments. She asked for them to bear with NIB.
We acknowledge also challenges with other benefit types, but fortunately such challenges have largely been the exceptions. We would like to unreservedly apologize to those customers affected. The public can be assured that we are working hard to resolve these issues along with our technology partner. We anticipate that our services will be fully back on stream by mid-June 2016. That's in about a month's time.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Thanks, Giorgio. In other news, a 37-year-old man of Coral Harbor appeared in the magistrate's court today, facing charges of conspiracy to commit murder. Police say sometime between April 30th and May 1st, Ramon Sweeting conspired with others to murder O'Neill Marshall. He was not required to enter a plea. The case will proceed by way of voluntary bill of indictment. Sweeting was denied bail and remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. He will return to court on June 21st. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old juvenile and his 18-year-old nephew, Shaw McPhee of Alexandria Boulevard, were brought before the magistrate's court on charges of murder. It is alleged that on Saturday, February 13th, the pair caused the death of Cyril Cartwright. They were not required to enter a plea. The case will proceed by way of voluntary bill of indictment. The pair was denied bail, and the juvenile will be remanded to the Juvenile Department of the Bahamas Department of Corrections. McPhee will be remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. They return to court on June 29th. In more news from the courts, 22-year-old Rodrika Miller of Prince Charles Drive today faced charges of accessory after the fact. Police say that with the knowledge that Colin Storr committed murder, Miller assisted and enabled him to avoid the process of the law. The case will proceed by way of a voluntary bill of indictment. Miller was denied bail and will be remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. She returns to court on June 29th. And 25-year-old Kevin Sands of Bamboo Town joins 2 police officers, a Defense Force officer, and his girlfriend as the latest charged with the robbery at the Bahamas Telecommunications Company location on John F. Kennedy Drive. Police say sometime between April 28th and 29th, Sands broke into the BTC store with the intent to steal. Sands is charged with stealing $41,000 worth of cash, checks, mobile phones, devices, and airtime cards, as well as a steel safe, all the property of BTC. Sands pleaded not guilty to all charges. He was denied bail and will be remanded to the Department of Corrections. He returns to court on July 4th. And condolences are tonight going out to the family of Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union President Nellarine Harding. Labor Minister Shane Gibson today offered condolences on behalf of the government and workers of the Bahamas. Harding served the labor movement for more than 30 years, working in many capacities in the AAAWU before securing the post of president, which she held at the time of her death. Gibson says Harding is a role model for young and aspiring trade unionists, using her skills and knowledge to selflessly serve the workers of the country. Harding collapsed last week and was hospitalized since then. After the break, a corporation chairman discusses a strain being placed on the country and the latest on national health insurance. Our news has that and more on the other side of this break.